Hey everyone, today we are diving into the owner's manual for the most amazing and complex machine you'll ever own, your own body. We're talking about nutrition, the absolute fundamental blueprint that decides how you're built, how you're repaired, and, how you run every single day.
Just imagine that for a second. A step-by-step guide to building the best possible version of yourself. Well, in a way, you kind of do. I want you to think of your body as this massive, lifelong construction project. And the food you eat, that's all your raw material. It's the bricks, the mortar, the wiring, the whole shebang. So let's get into it.
To really understand our construction manual, we've got to understand our materials first, right? So it's time to crack the code, look inside our food, and see what it's really made of.
And those secret ingredients? They're called nutrients. These are the active components in what you eat that literally have the power to flip a switch and turn your health on or off. They're the difference between using high-quality building materials and using stuff that's just going to crumble under pressure. Now, these nutrients come in two main flavors. You've got your macronutrients. This is the big stuff, the things you need a lot of, like proteins, fats, and carbs. And then you have the micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals. You only need them in tiny amounts, but believe me, they are just as critical.
So, let's start with the macros. I like to call them the heavy lifters. These are the main structural parts and the primary fuel source for our whole construction project. First up, proteins. These are your body's literal construction crew. They build everything from muscle to your hair, and they're constantly on call to repair any damage that happens. And get this, about 20% of your total body weight is just pure protein. But here's the thing, not all proteins are created equal. They're made of these smaller units called amino acids. And here's the really crucial point. Out of the 20 amino acids your body uses, there are 9 of them that are called essential for a reason. Your body absolutely cannot make them on its own. It's a non-negotiable. You have to get them from the food you eat. And this slide right here is a perfect illustration of why a varied diet is so important. Look here. See how cereals are low in one building block, lysine, while other foods, like pulses, are missing enough of another one, methionine? But when you combine them, think about a classic dish like rice and beans. Boom, you create what's called a complete protein that gives your construction crew all the tools they need. It's really a perfect example of nutritional teamwork.
Okay, next up, fats. And I know, they get such a bad rap, but there's so much more than just energy storage. Fats give you insulation to stay warm, they form this protective cushion around your vital organs, and they are absolutely essential for making certain hormones and keeping your entire nervous system firing the way it's supposed to.
And yep, you guessed it. Just like with proteins, there are essential fatty acids. And again, this means they're fats your body just can't produce. You have to eat them. We're talking about things like linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid, which are just vital for your health.
And if you're wondering just how essential they really are, well, take a look at this. This condition, it's called phrenoderma, or toad skin, and it's what can happen when you have a really severe deficiency of those essential fatty acids. It's a pretty powerful visual of just how important they are for your body's single largest organ, your skin.
All right, let's switch gears to the micronutrients. Now, if the macros are the bricks and mortar of our project, the micros are like the spark plugs and the electrical wiring. You only need them in really tiny amounts, but without them, the whole project just grinds to a halt. Nothing works.
Let's take vitamin C, for example. Without it, your body can't make collagen, which is basically the glue that holds all of your tissues together. And the result? Scurvy. It leads to the swollen, bleeding gums you see right here. It's a really frightening condition, and it's all caused by the lack of just one tiny micronutrient.
Or how about vitamin D? It's like the key that unlocks calcium absorption in your body. So, without enough vitamin D, you can't build strong bones. This can lead to these devastating deformities like rickets in children, which is what you're seeing in this image.
And one last one, the mineral iodine. Your thyroid gland needs it to produce these supercritical hormones that regulate your metabolism. When it doesn't get enough, it starts to grow larger and larger in this desperate attempt to try and grab more iodine from your blood. And that results in this visible swelling called a goiter. Small but mighty, for sure.
Okay, so we know the parts, we know all the components, but how do we actually put them all together? How do we take all this knowledge and assemble our own personal health blueprint?
For a really long time, this was the go-to guide. I'm sure you recognize it, the food pyramid. It was one of the first big attempts to give people a simple visual for how to build a healthy diet, with a big base of grains and then building up from there.
But our thinking has evolved. And today, we've got models like MyPlate. And honestly, it's just so much more intuitive. Instead of a pyramid, it just shows you what a balanced plate should actually look like for any given meal. Half fruits and vegetables, and the other half split between grains and proteins. It's just a way more practical blueprint.
Now, let's just zoom out for a minute, because what works for a single plate becomes a really massive challenge when you're trying to make sure billions of people get proper nutrition. This stuff isn't just a personal issue, it's a global one.
In public health, there are two key terms you'll hear that describe the impact of malnutrition. The first is stunting. That's chronic or long-term malnutrition. It means a child is too short for their age. Then there's wasting. That's acute, meaning it's a more immediate problem where a child is dangerously thin for their height, often because of a recent famine or illness.
In this slide, it shows two of the most severe forms. I want you to notice the stark difference here. Kwashiorkor, which is mostly a protein deficiency, can lead to that bloated moon face appearance. But then you have marasmus, which is a severe deficiency of just calories in general, and that results in a shriveled monkey face. It's two different deficiencies with two very different and very tragic outcomes.
But there is hope. Governments and organizations all over the world are tackling this head-on. This chart shows the clear, measurable targets of a national nutrition mission in one country, and it's aiming to systematically reduce stunting, anemia, and low birth weight. It really is a blueprint for public health.
And that brings us full circle, right back to you and your plate. We've seen the building blocks, we've seen the serious consequences of not having them, and we've seen the guides for putting it all together. The knowledge is now yours. Your diet is your blueprint. So the only question left is, what will you build?